Now at 11, cleaning up from a rare Portland tornado, we get a look at its path and find out just how long it was on the ground.
All I saw was a sea of black and fists going in my face.
A writer details being attacked during dueling demonstrations in downtown Portland. Plus, one local city is ditching the fireworks this 4th of July. Why they'll be using lasers instead. But first, right now at 11 o'clock, some tense moments for a Bethany family. A little girl wakes up to an intruder climbing into her bedroom through a window. The girl's father came in and scared the guy off, and deputies eventually tracked him down a little bit while later. But man, a scary situation. KGW's Mike Benner live for us at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Mike, you've been learning more about this suspect, digging into his past.
I have, Dan. His name is Cord Knutson. His criminal past dates back 12 years. Some of the worst charges we came across, misdemeanor assault charges. We also noticed a criminal mischief charge, as well as driving with a suspended license. But what's reported to have happened early this morning is far worse because it involved a young girl.
That's scary stuff.
People living in the courtyards at Springville condos in Bethany are still trying to process what happened early Tuesday morning. Deputies say around 4:30, a father woke up to his 7-year-old daughter screaming. He ran into a room and, listen to this, found a man crawling out of her window. Neighbors heard the commotion.
And I was just sleeping, and I had my window open. I heard some guy yelling, like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
We're told the dad chased after the suspect, who, according to authorities, was wet from having taken a dip in the complex hot tub.
I saw this dude walk out from up here, started like walking up the street, and came out and talked to the cops, told them, I saw this guy going this way.
Turns out deputies already had a lead. They say the intruder left his wallet near the hot tub.
Wow, weird.
Weird indeed. Authorities arrested 30-year-old Cord Knutson. He's facing burglary and criminal mischief charges. Investigators say Knutson admitted to having alcohol and marijuana before the incident that's left neighbors frightened.
I live in a bottom unit, and I've never even thought about not leaving my window open, but I won't do it from now on.
Same goes for others who live at the courtyards at Springville condos.
Make sure you lock up for sure.
Now, it's worth mentioning we did speak to the little girl's father over the phone, and he is absolutely shocked that the suspect, Cord Knutson, spent only 12 hours in jail and is already free. Quite frankly, he is extremely concerned because he and his family live in the same complex with this suspect. Dan, back to you.
Just a strange story. Mike Benner with the latest for us tonight. Thank you. Lots of cleanup to be done today in Northeast Portland after a tornado blew through. Brian Kappa, we can thank him for the shot of this video here. What the National Weather Service now says was in fact an EF0 tornado. Now that's the lowest on the scale, but it still did enough damage, as you can tell from this video here. Today, crews were out taking down some of those fallen trees and getting those branches out of there. Homeowners were out cleaning up their yards. For a lot of people, this was a rare chance to see the power of what a tornado can do in this area.
You know, you'd see clouds wisping by this way and clouds wisping by the other way. Basically just like a lot of turbulent air. And it's pretty interesting with the backdrop of these black clouds. And then you look over here and it's bright skies. So it's just a strange atmospheric phenomenon, even from a layperson.
And we mentioned how rare it is. The National Weather Service says this was only the 5th tornado in Portland since 1904. In fact, the last time a tornado struck Portland in July was more than 100 years ago. Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino joining us now with more on the path the tornado took. Matt.
Yeah, it touched down around Northeast 9th and going, and then continued for over a mile, about a mile and a quarter, mile and a half, past Prescott, Skidmore, Shaver, and eventually across Wilshire Park before finally ending around 38th Avenue. Now, we talked about the damage there, and Dan mentioned only the 5th tornado to touch down in Portland's history, which is really quite remarkable. That's not very many. If you think about it, really not that surprising. This isn't exactly tornado country. The biggest one in Portland's history was April 5th, 1972. That one, of course, famously crossed the Columbia River and unfortunately killed 6 people in Vancouver, Washington. So that was in fact, that year, Washington led the nation in tornado deaths, which doesn't really happen very often for a western state like this. But again, that is the path that we had. Now, tonight, things are settling down. We had a great sunset in the Dalles. We'll finish that off for you a little bit later on. And there is still a chance for a few showers tomorrow. We'll tell you when, what time of the day, and good news for the 4th of July forecast. Back to you.
All right, more from Matt soon. Thank you, sir. Take a look at some of these photos here. Portland police releasing these new pictures tonight. People that are wanted right now for crimes committed during the violent protests over the weekend. One wearing a black motorcycle helmet, another had a black leather hat on. The last person had a red and white baseball hat on. If you have any information on any of these people, please call Portland Police. Now, the conservative writer attacked on Saturday talked about what happened on the Lars Larson radio show today. Andy Ngo was the subject of this viral video. You see him there in the middle. It shows members of the left-wing group Antifa beating him up during that downtown protest. Ngo told Lars he was expecting it to be hostile down there, but he never expected to end up in the hospital.
When this attack was happening, I couldn't even tell how many people were hitting me. All I saw was a sea of black and fists going in my face and going on my head. I realized my camera equipment had been stolen. I remember trying really hard to hold on to it because that was my precious evidence and that was robbed from me.
Ngo wouldn't say if he plans to take legal action against the city. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler said the violence was, quote, unacceptable and will not be tolerated. Meanwhile, the mayor's office sent us some examples of the threats his office has been getting since this protest over the weekend. One actually said, quote, Ted Wheeler should be hung from a tree until dead. Another was sent to his chief of staff, and it said in part, quote, Antifa and all who enable them, hint, hint, will be held accountable for their crimes. Tick-tock, followed by an expletive. And another threat today led to police shutting down and evacuating City Hall. Security sweeping that building. They didn't find anything suspicious. Police eventually determined the threat was not credible, but still a big scare there. It's not clear if the threat is related to those over the weekend from those protests. But in a statement, Mayor Wheeler said this. He says, quote, these threats of violence are alarming and create a sense of fear that no one should experience. But unfortunately, this is increasingly becoming a reality in local government. I'm grateful that nothing happened. I'm grateful for swift action of our security and of our officers.
Cap and trade is not going away. And I'm going to tell you right here and now, no. No way is that going away.
I counted like 8 or 9 no's there, so get ready. Senate President Peter Courtney says cap and trade is coming back. The controversial bill sparked a walkout from Senate Republicans, derailing it in the legislature. Now, we're still learning more about how and why the legislative session ended on such a sour note for Oregon Democrats. KGW's Pat Doers sat down with Peter Courtney, talked about what happened and what's ahead.
Senate President Peter Courtney is often quotable, so an end-of-session interview is anything but routine. Here he's talking about the Democrats' ambitious agenda, which some say was too much for one session.
The R's finally hated it because the magnitude of all this stuff drove them crazy. And that's when it broke.
When it broke, the Republicans left the building and effectively shut down the Senate, not once, but twice. The second time, the compromise to bring them back led to the death of the cap and trade bill. But Courtney said that is just temporary.
And cap and trade is not going away. And I'm going to tell you right here and now, no. No way is that going away. And I told the Republicans, look, it's not going away. That is coming. The treatment of human nature, Mother Nature, all these years, it is coming.
Lawmakers in Oregon will meet again in February of 2020. That's 8 months from now. I asked what could be done to make the bill less offensive to those who didn't like it. He said he did not know, but he wants his party focused only on cap and trade.
The thing that we Democrats need to know is going into February, they ought to clear the decks and say there's only one issue, big issue, one major issue we're going to deal with. And we haven't done that ever in that short session. We think we can do all these things. They ought to simply say, both sides, that is the big issue.
Pat Doris, KGW News.
And Governor Kate Brown has said she's willing to use executive powers to implement some of these cap and trade measures, but she's still hoping now for legislative compromise. Next, forget the fireworks. Lake Oswego's 4th of July celebration is all about lasers. Why they're making the change this year. And it's your chance to vote. What do you think about cities ditching the fireworks in favor of alternative celebrations? We want to know what you have to say coming up. And we are already getting ready for school to return. The KGW School Supply Drive is almost here. Now, you can help students start the next school year with the supplies they need. We're also looking for businesses to become collection sites for our drive. If you are interested in that, if you think your business might be the right spot, please sign up. Go on kgw.com/supply. We're back after this.